last November, saw the release of the first adventure bike to wear the MV Agusta badge, but the limited production LXP Orioli's £26,700 price tag and limited run of just 500 examples meant it was never going to send chills down the spines of mass-market rivals. That might change now with the launch of the MV Agusta Enduro Veloce, a bike that's essentially identical to the Orioli but will come at a much more achievable price point. It's always been MV modus operandi, at least since the brand's relaunch in the late 90s, to introduce new models with an exotic limited edition variant before bringing a mass-made version to market. And that's precisely what's going on here. But with the new Enduro Veloce, the technical changes from the limited edition LXP Orioli few and far between. It's a tie-in that should help the Enduro Veloce, though as it means MV Agusta has been able to draw upon KTM expertise during the bike's final testing phase, helping to ensure its first adventure model has what it takes to compete in arguably the most hotly contested segment of the market. Performance. While the Enduro Veloce's 3-cylinder engine is based in the design used on MV Agusta's Brutal 800, Superveloce 800, F3, Dragster, and Turismo Veloce, it's been substantially reworked for the adventure bike. After all, the original triple started life with a capacity of 675cc before being hiked to 798cc, so upping it again to 931cc wasn't easy. The new capacity comes not only from an increased bore, up from 79mm to 81mm, but also a large increase in stroke from 54.3mm to 62mm. Like the smaller triple, it features a counter-rotating crankshaft that promises to have a significant impact on the Enduro Veloce's handling. Most transverse engine bikes have a crankshaft that turns in the same direction as the wheels, but a counter-rotating crank spins the other way to help counteract the gyroscopic effect of the wheels and make it easier to flick the bike into corners. It's a trick that's long been used in MotoGP, and since adopted by machines like Ducati's Panigale V4, but currently only Ducati's Multistrada V4 uses the idea in an adventure bike chassis. MV Agusta says that because the Enduro Veloce has a 21-inch front wheel, counteracting its gyroscopic effect is all the more important in giving the bike the sort of rapid turning character associated with the brand. Engine. The 931cc triple isn't as outright powerful as some of the more highly tuned 789cc 3-cylinder MV Agusta engines, with its focus more biased towards torque and power delivery. Peak power is 124 horsepower at 10,000 revolutions per minute, alongside 75 pound-feet of torque at 7,000 revolutions per minute. More importantly, 85% of that peak torque has arrived by 3,000 revolutions per minute. There's a 6-speed gearbox as you'd expect, and it's harnessed to MV's EAS 4.0 up and down quick shifter, although there's no plan to add the company automated SCS clutch to the Enduro Veloce. When we rode that aforementioned prototype, we were impressed by the inline triple motor, complete with counter-rotating crankshaft, and that is still the case today. I know it's unusual to start a road test with comments about the noises a bike makes, but the Enduro Veloce delivers acoustic magic by the bucket load. I'm unsure how MV has managed to sneak it through the Euro 5 noise tests because it sounds not only fantastic but also notably louder than similar road legal machines. Blip the throttle and the hairs on the back of your neck spring to life. The gargle on the overrun and the cheeky pop of backfire between clutchless race-style shifts are music to the ears. If you hear the bike before you see it, you'd swear a snarling supersport was approaching. Not an adventure machine with long travel suspension and a 21-inch front wheel. It is legal and Euro 5 Plus compliant, but it is on the edge. So much so that one foreign journalist I spoke to thought it was irritating, but I disagree. I love its sound and character. Handling? That new engine is slotted into a purpose-designed chassis made of high-tensile steel, with a bolt-on tubular steel trellis subframe and cradle section. It's fitted with Sachs suspension at either end, using 48mm, fully adjustable upside-down forks at the front, and a similarly adjustable monoshock at the back acting on an aluminium swing arm. Wheel travel at each end is 210mm, which positions it between the BMW R1300 GS and the Honda Africa Twin. The 21-inch front wheel and 18-inch rear are angled towards the more off-road end of the spectrum but have relatively street-biased Bridgestone Batlax A41 tires as standard. As an option, you can specify Batlax Axe 41 rubber with a much more aggressive tread. The bike's riding modes reflect the choice of tire. There are 8 traction control levels developed around the A41 tire, and another 8 for the Axe 41, selectable via the on-screen menu. As you'd expect from an MV Agusta, the brakes are high-end Brembos with Stylema 4-pot calipers on 320mm discs at the front, and a 2-piston caliper and a 265mm disc at the rear. Dry, the bike comes in at 224 kilograms, but complete with fluids and a full tank of fuel that figure rises to 251 kilograms according to published type approval documents. Comfort and economy. Adventure bikes are usually a comfortable option, provided you've got enough in the leg department to reach the ground with ease, and there's no reason to believe the Enduro Veloce will be any exception. At 870mm, the seat is high-ish, but not as towering as some rivals, and it can be lowered to 850mm. Those numbers put it in the same ballpark as the BMW R1300 GS and Africa Twin, its 2 main rivals. MV says it's put work into the aerodynamics to protect the rider from the worst of the wind blast, while using a fully plexiglass upper fairing to ensure unimpeded visibility. The aero tests are also said to ensure stability, including with a passenger and when the bike is fitted with side and top cases. During standard tests for emissions and fuel consumption, the Enduro Veloce managed just north of 50 mpg, giving a theoretical range of 220 miles on a full 20-liter tank of fuel. We'll have to wait until we ride the bike to see whether real-world numbers back up those laboratory figures.